Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Blogtalk Radio.
Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Closer Encounters, the show where you, the listener, is also the guest. I am your host, Clarence Mitchell, coming to you live from somewhere in Minnesota. Closer Encounters is streaming live from Blogtalk Radio. We are also live on YouTube and Google Hangouts. For all of our newest updates, check us out on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Closer Encounters Radio. Don't forget to like, follow, and share. Would you like to be a special guest on Closer Encounters? Or do you know somebody that would like to be a special guest on Closer Encounters? Then just shoot us an email at closerencounters.info@gmail.com. That's closerencounters.info@gmail.com. Have you ever witnessed a UFO? Or seen something that you just cannot explain? Or maybe you've had your very own closer encounter. You believe in the ancient alien theory? We talk about this and much, much more. If you have a story or maybe a question that you'd like to get answered, give us a call. The number here is 347-989-1008. Again, the number 347-989-1008. Give us a call here at Closer Encounters. I'd love to talk to you.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Closer Encounters, episode 105. Of course, you know this is the show where you, the guest, or you, the listener, is also the guest. Yeah, I'll get it straight someday. Oh, well, problems. Everybody's been having problems today with Facebook. Unfortunately, you know, that's what's happening. You know, we've had our bits and glitches here in the past, you know, well, a couple of months anyway. And it's just crazy. But today I logged on to check on our thing from last night. Wow, I couldn't get in. And then once I got in, I got locked in. I couldn't log off. Damnedest thing I ever seen happen. And then I went to Google and was checking it out, and they had a big post about it all over the place. Millions of people were all having the same problem at the same time. So that included Twitter, which is also owned by Facebook, which a lot of people didn't know. And I believe Pandora and a couple others are having the same problem. So, but anyway, we're here, we're live. Hope everything's going well. Looks like we got Tim with us here. Let's get him up. Man, we haven't heard from Tim in quite a while. Hello, Mr. Collard. How are you, sir?
Hello, Clarence. Greetings and salutations, my friend.
Yes.
How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Very good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, thanks.
Cool.
Not too bad. My whole outlook on things is really going good right now. It's really I'm in a positive mode. Only thing I'm worried about right now is what's going on in South Texas, and praying for the people down there, and hope that everyone is okay and all that. But that's.
It kind of reminds me of what happened back with Louisiana and stuff, when everybody was forewarned and nobody would leave, and man, it just devastated that place. And terrible thing, no doubt about it.
Yeah. 2000, back in 2005, I was it was one of those things where I was really taken by surprise that things happened the way they did. It was just a breakdown of the whole system broke down right there for the people, and out of the bad deal all the way around. And I just hope that the government agencies and that all the people involved in taking care of things like that, all the high ups, not the first responders themselves, but the actual government agencies, took a strong look at what went wrong there, and how to keep that from happening again.
Absolutely.
Because that was just a bad deal, man.
Absolutely. Well, and here's the thing, and I can't stress this enough with all these conspiracy theorists out there about the FEMA camps and all that stuff, but people wondering about the coffins and everything else that they see stockpiled, and the trailers and this and that and whatever. This is just the reason why there's places like that, just for such emergencies. And this is what I wanted to point out to folks, not to get all flustered when they see things like that, because, this is what they do, Unfortunately, the last time, especially with the FEMA trailers and stuff, they didn't pan out too well. They were rickety, and, they weren't in very good shape. A lot of people never even used them, and the ones that did had nothing but trouble. So, it wasn't a good thing.
Oh, no. No, it was a cluster from the get go on that altogether.
Absolutely.
I really didn't think that something like that could happen. I never in my wildest imagination thought that it would go down like that. Because they knew. They knew what was happening. But New Orleans itself, over half the city is below sea level. So that right there should have been that should have been all the red flags they needed to evacuate the whole city and get everybody out of there. They should have made it mandatory for everybody to leave.
Well, they kind of did in a way, but you always got them ones that just, we can stand it. We'll just put some extra boards on the windows and we'll be fine. And, hindsight's 20/20, folks.
Sure.
I know. And I'm probably the same way. If someone had told me that, tornado was coming, I'd go down to the basement and wait for the roof to blow off. That's that's me. But yeah, that was a sad thing. I went down there and tried to help, with the cleanup efforts and stuff, and that's where I found out just how the government actually works and stuff. I went down and volunteered my services and my truck, money out of my own pocket, and they refused me. They wouldn't let me come down there, Yeah. But they had all these older, how I want to put it, not quite Americans, you know, driving dump trucks and doing all kind of stuff down there. So, yeah, it was kind of a setup deal. Put a bad taste in my mouth. So, you know, but yeah, you'll have that.
Well, you know, I know from when I lived in South Texas, there was a couple times when I should have gotten out of there, but I didn't. I figured, I'm gonna ride the storm out, you know, and I think the last time I did that, I was kind of wishing that I hadn't stayed, you know, because it was just pretty wild.
Yeah.
When Hurricane Allen went through, that was in August of 1980.
Yes.
I packed up the family, packed up our kids, and the wife, and we went up to Austin.
Wow.
We went there, and they had set up for people. They call it evacuees.
Yeah.
Getting out, you know, people that were leaving, and we stayed in a high school for a couple of days up there.
Wow.
And the people were just they were absolutely amazing, man. They had all kinds of food and water and clothes and everything for us right there. You know, it was pretty nice. You know, it's something that I didn't expect anything like that, but I was really glad to see that.
That's cool.
It just goes to show the human side of things. You know, how people take care of
other people,
other things. You know, during a disaster like that. You know,
absolutely.
And that doesn't have anything to do with the government.
No,
you know, this is just, you know, actual other fellow citizens. You know, and that's really it's a good feeling that side of the human element be that good and that kind.
Absolutely, I agree. Absolutely. Yeah, it was funny you mentioned that too. Hurricane Allen. I was actually stationed in San Antonio. I was just going through boot camp. I was there for exactly 1 month. I went in July 1st, 1980, and Andrews, which is right across the way from Lackland there, we had to go over and actually help them clean up over there after the big storm. But it twisted all the aircraft around in circles on the flight line. It broke all their strapping and everything. And yeah, it was quite remarkable, the damage and stuff that it did out there. But yeah, we all were bunkered down in the barracks, and you know, they moved us around from place to place to keep us safe there and stuff. But yeah, quite the ordeal. Yeah. Matter of fact, they made us call home.
We were both in the same. We were both in the same area at the same time.
He does something.
Pretty wild. Pretty strange, you know. But
no doubt. Yep. So close to each other, we never knew.
Air Force?
Yep. I was stationed in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's where the boot camp is at Lackland, or is it Randolph?
No, it was Lackland. Yeah, Lackland Air Force Base. Yeah.
Lackland.
Yeah.
They got Kelly, Randolph, Lackland. Isn't that the ones that are there?
Yeah, Kelly. I think it's Kelly. I might have been mistaken. Yeah. Yeah, it might have been Kelly that we went over there to. Whatever it was right next door to Lackland. You just walked over across the field, and come to find out, my dad was actually stationed there in the Korean War. That's where he did his mechanics entry level, you know, and stuff before he went over to Korea. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, that's where he learned his mechanic school. But yeah. Oh, seemed like forever now, a long time ago.
Man, I have been researching and studying things and kind of reading on things and looking at pictures and stuff of doing with the archaeology type stuff, you know. And you know, I've mentioned this before that, you know, in say 5,000 years if there was nobody around to take care of anything, and most human beings are gone, and all the maintenance people like that, and all the infrastructure that was taken care of,
Right.
the buildings and bridges and stuff like that were gone. How long would it take before there was absolutely no sign or no indication of what was once there?
Well,
And I think, I started thinking, I said, well, all that would be left is like, if there's anything that would be recognizable, all would be a rubble pile.
mhm.
And it came to me when I was looking at pictures of Nemrut Dağ in Turkey.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but it's really a lot. There's a lot of controversy and things being talked about.
Yes.
But the one thing that takes me, and it just actually makes me tremble when I look at it, because I know that there's two structures there. There's two complexes where there's the ruins or where the statues and stuff like that,
Mhm.
and there are on both sides of this. They're on opposite sides of this hill they call a pyramid. Well, I got looking at it, and that hill that they call a pyramid is the left of a skyscraper if it was after it was decomposed back to nothing, back to raw form. And I looked at it and I thought, oh my gosh, there it is right there in front of us. There's a perfect example of what I've been saying all along, that was a structure. That was some type of a man-made structure. It wasn't made out of stone. It had stone covering on the outside of it, and that's pretty much what's left there.
Right.
But the actual inside part and everything would be completely gone. Any trace of any man-made material at all would be completely back to its raw state.
Absolutely.
And I just would like to just I want to put that out there just to say that, because it's something that I think it needs to be looked at. A little more in that direction.
Absolutely.
Because if somebody's going to build a pile of stone and just for whatever purpose, that's an awful lot of work just to be done for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's
Had to be a reason.
a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of manpower put behind doing something that has no really significant value to it.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of precision and the amount of detail that's in the statues and what's left of the statues that are there,
Right.
is just amazing.
Sure.
And then you look at the headstones, so the head pieces,
Right.
pieces of which have fallen off, come off because of probably some cataclysmic event took that and made that happen. I'm just saying that. I'm just
Sure.
Possibility.
Why not? Yeah.
But to look at them, they're cracked and weathered. That cracking and weathering, it takes me to what Michael Tellinger has said about Stonehenge, and looking at and really dissecting Stonehenge and saying that it's not a few thousand years old. Stonehenge could actually be 1,000,000 years old.
Sure. Sure.
And I look at those statues there at Nemrut Dağ, and they have been there for a long, long time. To get that weathering and that cracking in solid stone like that,
Absolutely.
that's hundreds of thousands, if not maybe 1,000,000 years or more of weathering going on there. Now, I've been studying geology along with everything else, just to kind of get a base root understanding of what goes on with stone and how lasts so long and why it lasts so long, and when it's subjected to weather, what is the amount of wear and tear that's on there,
right?
It just gives me a lot of inspiration, and more than that, I'm taking that same idea, that same thought, and looking at other structures around the world and saying, hey, we may be looking at this in an entirely different angle. We may be looking at this in the like children learning nursery rhymes for the first time.
Exactly.
How to read or how to write.
Yeah.
We're just learning. We're still learning. Archaeology.
Right.
And we haven't been doing any serious archaeological work for maybe 125 years
right.
at most. So we're still infants. We're in an infancy stage of learning about things like that.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier. That, we've just begun, really. I mean, yeah, we found some excellent finds and stuff, and different things like that. But look at what they're finding now. I mean, we're still digging up ancient structures and bones. I mean,
right.
They just found that new dinosaur, different other things. It's just amazing. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. We're just beginning to walk as far as that goes. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, look at Göbekli Tepe.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just discovered. That was just discovered in 1994.
Yeah.
And there's only that's been unearthed. They know that there's a lot more there. They've used ground penetrating radar and have found other structures in there. It's a whole city. It's not just one or two little complexes. It's
exactly.
Basically a whole city that's buried there. and
yeah.
And also every time I read about this, I'm going, oh my gosh. But they say that it was buried by hand. Well, that's again.
I don't know.
A lot of manpower being put to use and doing something, like that.
I honestly,
the amount of of work and labor, that's a very labor-intensive deal. But what if, like, say during a cataclysmic event, say an ocean impact meteor hit the Earth and caused a gigantic tidal wave that went around the world.
Right.
It wouldn't just be one wave. It would be a succession of waves upon waves upon
sure.
waves after waves after waves after waves, and has it settled down, there would be still a lot of aggregate mixed up with the water. And as the water was coming in and washing in, bringing in aggregate, depositing layer upon layer of the stones there at Göbekli Tepe, that, to me, it makes more sense. It's more plausible that that's what happened rather than being buried by hand.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm not saying that I'm right, but I just, for myself, it makes more sense that way. And not only that, but if that is there, how many other sites around the world are buried for us to find?
Exactly. Yep.
It's very, I get very excited and very, I'm energized at wanting to go to places and look at every place I go to, especially even here in North America, places I go to. I look at places differently than I ever did before.
Yes.
When I'm out traveling around, I look at things and I'm looking at it with the thought of, okay, what made that? What made those hills there? What made that? What was really behind that?
Yeah.
There's one place in Charleston, Arkansas, that when I first seen it, it caught me by surprise so dramatically. It was one of those things that made me tremble when I seen it.
Mm.
But it's a hill that looks like a pyramid that is right inside town, and there's no way, there's no record of anybody ever stacking any stones there or anything.
Right.
But this is I mean, if you see it, anybody goes there, when you see it for the first time, if it doesn't take your breath away, I don't know. You better check to make sure that you're still alive, because that is something that I'm serious. It's out of place. It doesn't belong there, you know. And I'm wondering what was it that could have done that? What could have made that? You know,
right?
Or was it a building that did pre-rate, or possibly? Now I'm looking at it through all different aspects too. I'm looking at like say back during the Ice Age, when there was glaciers that covered most of the United States area.
Sure.
Was covered in a glacier. That could have been a glacier where there was a melting hole. Let's say a hole was melted. He had melted through.
Right.
And all the rock and the stuff that's collected through the movement of a glacier. As they move along, they pick up stones and rocks and everything. And that could have been one way of it creating a peak mountain right there. Not really tall. It's probably maybe 200 feet tall.
Right.
200 feet.
Right.
Something like that. It's not real big, but it's big enough to grasp your attention. And everybody I talked to said that it's been there. It's just a mountain that was there, and it's just a hill that was there.
Right.
And I've gone over to it. I've gone over there as close as I get to it, and it's all just stone.
Right.
It's just rocks.
Wow.
It's not a rock formation. It is
just a pile of rock.
Aggregate type
right.
material.
Wow.
And so I look like, just to keep from getting caught up in this in a past civilization theory, and look at it, through the eyes of the reality of it. It could be other stuff that caused it to be that way,
right.
Or caused it to form there like that. But I break down sometimes I analyze some of my own analyzing.
Right.
I'll analyze myself.
I've done that many times.
What
Absolutely.
I'm looking at, what I'm saying
Yep.
is not viable or truth, or if it's something that's way out there, it's too far out, or something,
Kind of like what I did with the Anunnaki and the Hopi. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, before we go any further, Tim, I want to say hi to my mom. She just logged in. She's been in the hospital since last night. She had to have a couple of blood transfusions, and want to let her know we're all thinking of her. And
oh my God.
Yeah. I don't know what the problem is. Unfortunately, she's got to have a couple more, I guess. But yeah, she's losing blood from someplace, and they don't seem to be able to find it, which I find is very weird. How do you get down that low on platelets and stuff, and they can't locate it? But yeah, I don't understand the medical profession sometimes. I really don't. Kind of upsetting. But yeah, she's in their hospital bed watching this live, and I want to wave at her. Hi, Mom. And I see Steve Griffiths is with us. Yeah.
And my thoughts and prayers also are going out there too.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. In our chat there, we got Flycatch with us. She's been posting a bunch of links here for us to look at later on. And Fringes, Bangs, Booms, I've never heard of you, but welcome. And we have a caller. Wow, look at this. We got another caller with us here, Tim. This is an 804 area code. I think I know this person. I think this is Bob. Is this Bob?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, how are you, sir? Is this Bob?
I'm great. I'm great.
Cool.
I'm great. I'm just listening.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, we'll keep you on if you want to jump in. Yeah. Haven't seen you on in a while. I'm sorry?
One question.
Yes.
What kind of sighting that was y'all had during it? I mean, that y'all captured during the eclipse?
Oh, yes. I'm glad you asked that. I posted a couple of videos about it. What was happening was I was watching the NASA 360 video on the eclipse that they had out in Oregon. And I just so happened to catch what I considered to be a UFO going through their video. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to do a little research on this. And I went and found another video from the same area, but shot by different people, and seen the same object in their video as I did in the NASA 360 video. So I went ahead and put them both together, and I put them on the, well, I posted them everywhere so people could see it and tell me what they thought they were. Did you happen to watch it? Did you give me any insight on it, what you think it may be?
No, this is the first that I heard of it. It was you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's posted in the Ancient Alien page. It's posted on my Facebook regular page. It's also in Coaster Encounters page. So yeah, if you get a chance to watch them, I give you the time marks of where to look. And please please check it out and let me know what you think. It'd be really, really cool.
All right.
It's really so. Tim, I don't know. Did you ever catch that yourself, Tim? Did you have a chance to look at them?
Yeah. I've seen quite a few of them. It's very interesting. I know that chances are the naysayers or the speculating people are going to say, well, that's just some type of a refraction from the lenses or whatever, But
oh no.
But there were pictures that were taken with a digital camera.
Mm-hmm.
Where there isn't a lot of lenses going on there, or a lot of seems
right.
like can't bet,
right.
There isn't a lot of lenses for diffractions or reflections or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's something to it. I think. That
absolutely. Well, what was odd about it?
Because of the fact that I was out watching this. I was out in the day watching that, and I was trying to figure out some way of being able to observe the eclipse without hurting my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And something came to me. I happen to remember something that went back from science class in high school. That you poke a hole in a piece of paper
mm-hmm.
and hold it up above the, say 2 or 3 feet above the ground,
mm-hmm.
and the image will show down on the ground. So I got me a piece of cardboard paper,
mm-hmm.
and I punched a hole in it to make sure it was perfectly open and there wasn't any kind of deformation in it or anything. It was a perfectly round circle.
Right.
And I held it up, and sure enough, I got a perfect image of the eclipse
cool.
on the ground. And I watched it as it progressed from a pretty good sized bite out of the sun,
mm-hmm.
to where it went down to, I think, here in northeast Oklahoma, it got down to what I believe there was 10% of sunlight, and you could see it outside. It was like,
right.
It was like a bluish haze and everything.
Sure.
And I took pictures of it, but my phone, again, camera phones,
mm-hmm.
they automatically set themselves,
right,
the f-stop and all that. So, and they automatically will self-brighten. So I didn't really get the images that I wanted, but yeah, you can look at the shadows on the ground. The shadows are different.
Yes.
Shadows was what what really got me is that they're double shadowed.
Mm-hmm.
During the eclipse, every shadow that was on the ground was a double shadow. And I was like, whoa, check it out, man.
That's pretty
like,
crazy,
wow.
huh?
I've never seen that before, you know.
Right.
I've never thought that anything like that happened. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. But I thought that I seen, because I would go to look. I try to look at the sun. You know,
Right.
I know I'm not to, because the eclipse is the worst time in the world
Sure.
to ever try looking at the sun with the naked eye, because it
Yeah.
will burn your retina.
Absolutely.
There's something to do with the intensity of the light coming around, coming around the moon or something like that. I really don't understand that part of it, but
yeah,
I do know that it's not good to do that. And so, but I looked up in the sky, and I caught flashes in the sky of something that I don't know if it was. Again, I thought that it was just a reflection because I wore glasses.
Right.
You know, I thought maybe, and I have on sunglasses that go over my glasses. You know, so I got two different lenses there, and I thought, well, maybe it was just some type of reflection I was seeing.
Mm-hmm.
But I got thinking about it, and there was nothing moving around me.
Wow.
And you know, there was no airplanes or anything in the area right there. But I thought that there was something going on. I could feel the presence of something. So
right.
when these other images started coming up, and I've been looking at them, I've been looking at it, and I believe that there's something around us right now that is able to camouflage itself, or to cloak itself,
sure,
to make it invisible to where we can't see it.
Right.
I believe their ability to cloak is definitely very possible.
Oh, I've said that for years.
Some of that's going on.
Yeah.
Because looking around, I mean, for nothing else, for no other reason, look at the craziness in the world that's going on around us.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the world is going crazy. The world is going nuts. We're imploding on ourselves, and there's something. I don't know what's feeding that. I don't know what's really feeding it. I don't know if
it's that
the people
it's that bad genetics,
like a feeding frenzy with sharks.
Yeah.
Or what's going on, but
yeah, it's that
all these protests and everything going on around the country, and we're tearing ourselves apart, you know.
Well,
and
yeah,
I don't think it's something that we would do normally. I think it's being ingested. It's being injected into our world, into our society, into our
absolutely
countries, everything, you know.
Yeah, I find it very strange myself. But you know, if you believe in the end times, and you know, there's a whole bunch of writings and stuff, you know, including the Bible and stuff that talk about it, you know, and whatever. Even Nostradamus and all them, you know, talked about it, and a lot of it coming around, you know, that's been written, kind of freaky when you really stop and consider it, you know. But it's just something. But I tend to believe that, you know, kind of like what Linda Moulton Howe was saying, that there is good and evil placed here on this planet, and what we see is the evil, and that's, you know, that's the exact part we're seang.
Sure. Sure.
And as long as it stays away from me, I'm going to be okay. But you know, what do you do? I mean, you know, hopefully they're keeping their eyes on them. You know, but who's to say? You know, that they're not part of it themselves, you know, as far as government goes or whatever, you know, you just don't know an individual,
right.
You know, so it's kind of scary.
I look at it like I'm only just one person, but I can't help but feel inside me that that something needs to be done. You know, somebody, you know, and I'm willing to speak out and say,
sure,
hey, look, you know, evil is arising and alive and well in so many different aspects of our world that even, I believe, even religion, religion is being influenced by the dark side.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
You know, a lot of evil being influenced in churches and synagogues and in mosques.
Well, look at it this way, Tim. When you got,
you know, the evil is being ingested into places that are based upon good.
Well, think about it like this, Tim. When you got Catholic priests that are raping young boys, when you got holy rollers going out and picking up hookers, you know, and all these other people. I mean, you see it every day in the news, and you know,
right.
I mean, you know the Jim Baker story, and you know, on and on and on. I mean, you can sit here all day and talk about it, but that's exactly what you're describing. I mean, this is, you know, and this has been going on forever, you know, and people just kind of turn a blind eye to it, so to speak, and it's a damn shame. But that's, yeah, and we're getting a rude awakening, my friend, because that's exactly what's going on.
The other day it came to me, if there's anything that I could do in this world to leave a mark, if I can, you know, not to leave a mark, but anything that I can do to make us better, to help mankind, it would be to enlighten me to look at things in a different light.
Sure.
To not just go about things in their normal everyday aspect, to actually, you know, to overcome this, whatever's going on, whatever's happening, and how strangely it's all going about. There's some type of, you know, there's some way that we can stop this, the madness.
Right.
You know, the absolute madness needs to come to a halt, because I mean, even I come across these blogs all the time, different stuff. But the one thing that's really going crazy is the road rage blog. They're on YouTube. I mean, you can find them. They're all over the place.
Sure.
But road rage is going rampant right now, and so there's another ingest of how people are, you know,
they just don't care. They don't.
The good in us, and we're grasping onto that aggressive behavior, that animalistic aggressive behavior.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I think is, you know, we haven't developed this through a process. It's something that has just happened within the last few years, and it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. You know, so I want to, you know, if there's anything I can do, it would be to stop the madness and to change this and to redirect us in the right and positive manner.
Well, maybe it has something to do with them.
Better, and to rise above the crap that's going on.
Sure. Right. Maybe it does have something to do with them chemtrails. Maybe we're breathing in this stuff, and that's what's happening. Yeah. I hate to say it that way, but you know, it could be. Maybe it's bringing out the worst in some people, you know. But you know, here again, though, you got to stop and consider what else is happening along beside all that. When you got the alcoholic deal on the rise, the drug use is way overboard and been on the rise. You know, different factors like that. I mean, it's no wonder that people are running around going nuts. I mean, you see these videos all the time being posted, like that one guy was in a dance hall someplace. The sweat's just pouring off from him. He's angry. His face is just looks like, you know, like he's ready to bite somebody's head off, but he's dancing, you know? And I'm like, man, this guy is just strung out. Unbelievable, you know? And this is what you're dealing with, you know? It's just crazy. Scary stuff. Very scary stuff. But
oh, yeah. Well, see, that's another thing, you know. I mean, a lot of the street drugs that's going around right now, you know, are bathtub drugs, you know, that people are making up, you know.
Yeah, stovetop and
private, you know, and they got no,
Oh,
most
Doc.
of them don't have no idea what it is they're doing or what they're making, and
Absolutely.
causing, you know.
Well, we just had a place.
Go nuts.
Yeah, we just had a camper trailer. One of the, I got a fifth wheel, that I use for vacations and stuff, and they just had one maybe a block away from me, up backside of the alley up here, that they found a meth lab in. People were using it to cook meth in, just a block away from my house, up in the back alley. It just, somebody was complaining about this smell, so they called the fire department, and come to find out, here's this camper out there with all the windows boarded up around it, and whoever was in there took off. Obviously, they knew they were coming, and they opened the place up, and here they got all these pots on the stove, and they're cooking up meth. It's like, wow, really? Yeah. Crazy. So yeah, definitely scary stuff. So.
Yeah, but the chemicals that they're using to make it work are.
They're toxic. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah. Anything from battery acid to Drano. I mean, crazy stuff. Yeah.
Drano, battery acid. Yeah, any kind of acid they can get, either sulfuric or muriatic or whatever kind of acid they can come across or using, And most of them ain't got a clue what they're doing. They just think that well, we can do it like this, we can do it like that. I don't know. I don't know, man. But,
good luck with that. Yeah.
It's driving a lot of people crazy.
I'd rather light a match to a barrel of gunpowder. Yeah. But anyway, my mom had a question earlier. I was talking to her on Messenger, and she was talking about the eclipse. And she was wondering, if we may think that the eclipse has something to do with this hurricane thing going on, down in Texas. Now, I'm not particularly sure about the eclipse itself having any effect on it, but we do know that the moon does play obvious roles as far as ocean and weather and stuff like that. So maybe because it's in the trajectory that it's in at this point in time, may be having a very well effect on the hurricane. But I'm not, I'm not up on all that, so I really couldn't say for sure. But
yeah, I think that I'm with you on that. The moon does play a significant role in controlling the tides, and how weather patterns are formed and how they circulate and stuff. It's all by the gravitational pull of the moon. And it's not always on the same trajectory.
Right.
The moon has got I don't know how many
quite a few
thousands of different trajectories constantly.
Yeah. Quite a few.
It almost never uses the same trajectory twice,
right.
Although it does. But
right.
What I find to be really interesting, and man, I know it's astrophysicists and stuff like that doing some serious mathematical figuring, but how do they know when an eclipse is going to take place, and how do they know that it's going to be at that exact precise location? Because the moon does change its orbit so many times. How do they know years ahead of time who's telling them this? How do they come up with this? Because it doesn't follow the same pattern
right
every time.
Well, they've been in space for so long, though. Yeah, they've been up there for so long, and all the satellites and things now. I mean, they're taking measurements every day, so they got this thing right down to the T. I mean, it is pretty amazing.
Oh, they got it down.
Yeah,
they have down to a science. But we take everyday life here on Earth for granted so much, and we don't
Right.
aren't really aware of all the other forces that are at work in our solar, it's just in our solar system,
Right.
not in our universe, not in the galaxy, not in the cosmos, but just in our own solar system.
Right.
All the different things that happen here that's going on every day that controls everything, like the weather here and everything else. But the Samini, I think Samini space probe,
Right.
that's out there circling Saturn right now, and it's studying Saturn and all the moons around Saturn, and it's studied, well, at first it studied Jupiter, but now it's locked in an orbit around Saturn.
Right.
And some really unusual and strange things going on. But they're looking at the hexagon shape that's in the North Pole of Saturn. You know, they knew about that. Now that they act like they just seen it, but they knew about that back when Voyager made its pass back in
Right.
78,
Right.
70, 79, 78 or 79. Voyager went past Jupiter and got pictures, got images of that hexagon shape at the North Pole of
Jupiter.
of Saturn.
Or yeah, Saturn. Right.
So we've known about that it was there, and you know, and what kind of forces are at work there causing that to take place?
Right.
The gravitational forces and the different theories, theorems, the mathematical theorems
Right.
that exist. And what is it? It's called? There's two different triangles that you put them together to make a six-sided deal like that.
Yeah. No
I don't
doubt.
remember what it's called because I'm not a mathematician. I don't claim to be a mathematician,
Right.
but I do stay up on a lot of math and algebra and stuff like that. So I know how things work and the formulas on how things operate. But it's based off of two triangles working together, forming that six-sided that hexagon, and all that going on. And I'm just using mathematical theories
Right.
now, basing my theory. My theories off this is off of using rudimentary mathematics at work to explain things, or to understand the physical properties that's going on, and that's how I kind of keep myself in check that way by doing that. You know, I keep myself from becoming too caught up in my imagination and getting running away with myself, because that can happen too. You know,
Right.
we're all vulnerable to that. So that being said, I keep myself in check. You know, like I said, I go back to just using mathematics.
Right.
And when you start doing that, and how those mathematical theories formulate and work into everything, right down to our orbit around the sun, because we're not in just a completely round orbit around the sun. We have an elliptical orbit.
Yeah, it's like an egg shape.
Sometimes we're closer to the sun, sometimes we're further away from the sun.
Right.
It's not just a round circle, or like an egg shape.
Right.
So there's things that work there. There's
definitely a force.
Gravitational forces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That can be that again. It come down to figuring out when a solar eclipse is going to take place.
Yeah.
Being just that simple. Or that complex.
Right.
It's both. It's very simple, but it's very complex.
Exactly.
So there's all this stuff going on, and it's all around us, and that's the universe, or that's the dimension that we live in. That's
Sure.
These are laws that we live by.
Yeah.
That happen. and nothing man-made about it.
Exactly.
It happens on its own, you know, and it's all done. And it can be formulated through mathematical theories, and that's where Einstein. That's why Einstein is such a, you know, he's such my biggest, you know, my role model, my biggest hero, because
Exactly.
he looked at things. You know, everything was based off of Newton's theory. You know, up until he came out with his theory of relativity, everything was based off of Newton. That everything happened because of one action creating another action.
Right. Opposite,
You know,
opposite
and Einstein
reaction.
proved that that's not the case at all.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And so we're, you know, I think that we're on the doorstep of possibly doing the same thing. You know, or quite possibly, I may be stepping through a doorway there, or opening up a window, so
Sure.
to speak, to see things in a different light,
Mm-hmm.
differently than what we're used to looking at. You know,
Absolutely.
and it doesn't let me run away with myself, but it keeps me energized and knowing that well, if Einstein could have done that 120 years ago, what's to say that we can't do the same thing today if we just look at things in a different way? If
Right.
we step back and get a different perspective of the world we live in,
Mm-hmm.
and look at it in a different light, you know, and that's what drives me, and that's why I come on this show. That's why I talk with you like this,
Cool.
because I like sharing that. I like sharing that and opening it up, and I find out that there's more and more people that are like me, you know, that are like us,
Right.
you know,
Absolutely.
not just me, us, you know, all of us here pretty much are under that same deal, you know. We know there's something more and than what we're being told, and what we're being told is just a line of crap, no sense,
Right.
you know. So you know, that's just again, I hate getting, I get started on something. I'm going,
It happens.
I'll be a little bit.
Well, we got a couple of callers here.
That, just so that I can get people to understand what I'm saying.
Sure.
Isn't a delusional
Right.
delusional aspect of what I'm doing. That
Gotcha.
I'm actually, you know, that will actually, you know, and not only myself, but you know, I have, you know, Graham Hancock, which God bless him. My prayers go to him. I hope he gets well. Graham Hancock is one of the people I follow very much. Christopher Dunn, I follow him very much. You know, scientist. Robert Schott, you know, as a geologist and he's now an archaeologist. I follow him. I listen to all these guys. These guys that really truly have the scientific data and look at it in a physical, look at our world in a physical, scientific way.
Right.
And those are the guys that inspire me.
Right.
Those, you know, and I just like to let them know. I wish I could let them know what they've done for me, and not only for myself, but for so many, countless thousands,
Absolutely.
thousands of other people around the world
Mm-hmm.
that are being inspired by them and what they do.
Absolutely. Hey, Tim, we got a couple of callers here popping up. Let's see who these are. Now, they're both kind of the same numbers. I'm assuming one may be Colin and one may be Lee. We'll see who we have here. Hello, caller.
Hi, it's Colin.
It's-
I was calling to tell you guys about my close encounter.
Ah,
When I was in the third grade. Yeah, when I was in the third grade, I remember I was sleeping in my bed, and this alien, he had two eyeballs and like a big nose. He kind of looked like Rock.
unfortunately, you got dropped there, guy. I don't know, but that definitely wasn't Colin. Let's see who this one is. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
You two ever jerk each other off or jerk off the man?
Okay, yeah, thank you. Oh, gotta love them. Trolls.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
They
do pop up, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They have their fun. Hello, Gail. I want to wave at Gail. I see she just come in. She says she made it. Doc has been talking a little bit here. He says that the oh, I see what he says. Let me scroll down here real quick. Okay, he said the hurricane was born before the eclipse. Orbital mechanics, of course, the aliens. My mom was asking about the tide, the size of it and stuff. Okay, and the strength. Yeah, they're talking amongst themselves there about the eclipse and the stuff. Doc says possible since the highest tide occurred during the new moon phase. Yeah, cool. Sounds like a fun caller there, Clarence. Yeah. Hello, Gail. Yeah, we're waving at you. Nice to see you. Yeah, we get these trolls every so often, you know, bunch of kids, they just having fun, doing whatever. I don't know, you know. Yeah, gotta do their thing.
People get bored and they.
I guess, yeah, yeah. You know, you could get upset with them and stuff, but you know, it's just. I got the controls here. I can kick them off anytime, so it's not a big deal. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
No, it's just sad that the people aren't willing to really listen to what's being said.
No.
And to understand, that, you know, we're not just talking off the tops of our heads.
Yeah.
We're not just, you know, we're not talking about stuff that is you know, out there.
Right.
We're talking about stuff that we can show, you know, in certain ways, in certain cases, we can show without a doubt that this is different than what we're being told it is.
Yeah.
You know, and that the world around us is completely different than what we're being told. And
Well,
even things like religion is looked at in a completely different light now. It's changed from what it was beginning at in its core, as it started, and what it was designed to do is gone away from so far away from where that beginning point was at. We're not just Christianity, but all of it.
Well, I think I don't think they're going to have much of a choice, Tim. You know, I don't think they're going to have much of a choice because the way things are going right now, especially with these new finds and stuff that they're doing archaeology-wise, and well, even with people like Bruce Fenton, you know, who just finished off his new book there, you know, the Out of Africa theory and stuff about the Denisovians and different things. Our history is going to have to be rewritten. I mean, it's just, but here's the problem is where do you start on the rewrite? You know, how far back can you go and how much do we know that, you know, I mean, it's just going to be a never ending cycle. It's going to be having to change over and over and over again, you know? So.
Oh, yeah. And then there's, it's not just one explanation that's going to feed the whole thing.
Right.
There's layers upon layers.
Absolutely.
Upon layers.
Absolutely.
Because for every war that's waged, we lose 25% of the knowledge who were conquered. 25% of what they were doing was conquered.
Yeah.
Going back to the beginning of the human race.
Oh, absolutely.
Race. So so say what science, mainstream science says that the human race, that we are in the social beings that we are in the society we're formed, is say 4,500 years old, 4,500 years old. So
right.
Every 100 years, if there was a major war, and I'm just using every 100 years, and there's many more than that.
Right.
But just going off of every 100 years, if you figure 4,500 years, every 100 years meaning a major war being about, how much history was lost through each war?
Sure.
How much true understanding of our past was lost through each conflict, and it boggles the mind when you see how much was lost, and then you have the ingestion of things like religion becoming an indoctrination.
Yeah.
Not so much a spiritual thing. It's an indoctrination now that goes on, but causes people to have a different understanding of reality, and off, out in left field from where they should be, and it's no wonder that our world is as messed up as it is right now because, we're not studying the true truth of the human history. We're looking at how it's been turned into a fairy tale.
Well, a lot of it has, yeah, absolutely. And what they don't know, they make up. Unfortunately, that's the thing.
Well, see, again, I don't like that. I believe it's something that needs to be said, but I don't like saying it because I know it steps on people's toes, and I know a lot of people are those.
It is what it is.
A lot of people, but
it is.
It's something that people need to be made aware of. Because if I wasn't right about it, we wouldn't have stuff like Jimmy Swagger, or
the bakers,
countless other ones that have used and manipulated people for their money, squandered people out of millions and millions and millions of dollars every year.
It's amazing.
Wrong, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, totally amazing.
That's not, and we the homily that you go to and learn in church, when you go to church, the homily that you come out away with is saying, learn good and go forth from here and share that with others. That's being lost along the way.
Yeah.
That's not being something that's being done anymore.
Right.
And it comes down to, well, if you don't pay your tithes, then if you don't pay us your money, then you're not living right.
Right.
We want your money. Well, where did it ever say in the Bible that you had to pay to go to church? Where did Christ ever say that his church, that you had to pay him to go to church? What was talked about is 10%. That you had to give 10% of what you had to the Lord. Right. It didn't mean 10% of your money. It meant 10% of what you have.
Yeah.
Of your time, 10% of your time, 10% of your whatever. It didn't say 10% of your money. It says 10%. You have to give 10% to the Lord.
Right.
They turn it in now to 10% of your money is now mine.
Right. Yeah.
And everywhere you go, you see these signs. Who do you serve? Do you serve God, or do you serve the Almighty Dollar?
Yeah.
And the churches now are being served by the Almighty Dollar rather than by God. You look at it like that. I hate to say it because it's going to cause a lot of people to say, "Wait a minute, he's making sense."
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wake up.
Well, if they would,
if they would doing that, because then you rip apart people's faith. Their ability to believe in stuff, And the thing is that when you come down to it, that God is in part of each and every one of us, and that we have the ability to have free will to do the right thing or do the wrong thing.
Right.
You can do right or you can do wrong. You have that choice. As long as if you base yourself upon doing right and living right and being right, be right. You know what I'm saying? You can't help but go in the right direction. So for crying out loud, people, if you have problems like that with anything, have faith in yourself to do the right thing, to be right, to do right, not just for your own selfish gain, but for the betterment of everyone involved, whether it be family, friends, or whoever. You know, what can you do to make it better for yourself? And that's what needs to be talked about. That's what needs to be changed. That's what needs to be opened up to, you know, and get people away from this, you know, looking for something out there. When everything that we're looking for, everything that we need is right here in front of us, right here within us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything that we need is right within us. But we don't have to look any further. We don't have to go nowhere else, you know. And it starts with one step, you know, in the right direction.
Right.
You know, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step, or the journey with 1,000 different things starts with the first step, the first influx, the first input, you know.
Right.
And you can't help it but go right. You can't. It's one of those things that it self-rights itself.
Well,
it takes care of itself. If you do the right thing, it will take care of itself along the way.
Problem is
that's something that it took me a long time to understand, to gain that wisdom. But that's something I like to share with everyone. You know, and I don't like to get out like a preacher. I'm not trying to be a, you know, start my own, you know, my own faith or anything like that.
Hey.
But I do want to kind of help mankind, help the human race become better, you know. And that's what boils down to.
Well, there are definitely a lot of lost souls out there. I'll grant you that. You know, no doubt about it. And I just, you know, it is amazing. You know, sad. It is sad. I think it's the times, and that's, you know.
Yeah. But we have to understand our past. We have to understand the truth of our past.
I don't think
before we can really.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the way, no, it ain't like that. It's, I guess what I was going to say was, you take a look around you at society now, and I really don't think a lot of them give a damn about the past anymore. You know, I think all they're worried about now is what's, you know, what they can get today, right now. I mean, this is, you know, they could care less about the past, you know. Which is a damn shame, because without it, we wouldn't have what we have now. I mean, that's the way I look at it, you know. But, yeah, they want to destroy everything, you know, get rid of it. What's the sense, you know? Yeah. I don't know.
Well,
it does sadden me. It really does.
Changing misunderstanding our past is what led us in the off the straight and narrow path that we, you know, that's what I'm getting at. Not that we should really have to understand it first before we can go on, but just to know that there's something more to us, that you know, that us human beings are some pretty resilient people. Well,
we can be
resilient species.
Absolutely.
We can adapt, and we can live in any environment on Earth.
Yeah.
And we do. You know, we look at every place from the hottest deserts around the world to the coldest places, Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's I don't know how many different countries have got their own little posts set up down there, you know, doing study in the South Pole. But that's where the coldest temperatures recorded on Earth have been recorded.
Sure.
In Antarctica. So, you know, and there's people living there. You know, so we can adapt, and we can live anywhere in the world, and we do. You know, it's just, you know, adapting and learning the right direction to go.
Yeah. Gail made a comment. Gail says they want us to forget that. Yeah. Gail says they want us to forget that we are light being able to create through thoughts and faith, you know. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with that. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Yes, and we do have the ability to control our own destiny. You know, a lot of people think that, you know, they can't see the forest for the trees sometimes because they're caught up in the situation that they're in.
Right.
We do control our own destiny, and sometimes we have to learn that where we're at, what we're doing, isn't where we should be.
Mm-hmm.
We should, you know, but so many people are and I understand it. You know, it's scary. It's scary to step out into and do stuff that you're not used to, or to get out of your comfort zone,
right,
and do stuff that you wouldn't normally do. You know.
Well, that, and some people just don't have the means either, though. I mean, I understand that too, you know. And it's hard for some folks. But,
oh, yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
But, getting a message. That was funny.
I got my I have my tablet on over here.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I got stuff coming in on it.
Yep. I had to shut mine off, you know, because I get people sometimes that message me on Messenger, and I don't, I got like it on 2 separate deals, you know, so I can actually be on Facebook on one and then instant message on another. And sometimes when it dings, I'll get all 3 of them dinging, you know. It's like, what the heck? And then I realize I got all these messengers, you know, on every device, and it's like, oh, wow, you know, what do you do? So, yeah. I can't keep up with this stuff. I got to shut one off, or, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. It's funny. Everything's synced, you know. It's like, and it just keeps going further and further. I mean, you know, I can't keep up with it sometimes. It's crazy. You know.
Oh, I know.
And to think that, you know, this hasn't been a big thing as far as computers. I mean, as far as home computers and stuff goes. I mean, there's been computers. I mean, you know, they've been using computers way back, you know, almost 100 years, it seems like, you know. But as far as what we have today, wow, yeah. And it's just growing and growing and keeps on going, you know. Now they're talking about another system all entirely coming out. The hell they call that, the millennia something or other.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called now, but
I don't know.
a whole new system, you know. So supposed to be faster and better, and, you know, can handle quadrillion megabytes. I don't know, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never ending.
Well, when you look at it, look at what I really find amazing is our human ability to do things. Back during a perfect example of this, during back in World War II, all the gun sights on the battleships, well, especially the Iowa class battleships.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use them for example, but Germany used too on their capital ships, the Bismarck and the Tirpitz and the Graf Spee. They had analog computers,
right,
that they could dial in exactly where to go to. You know, they might have to fire one round to get a fix.
right.
But once they did that, they could compensate for it.
Sure.
And the computer would automatically adjust to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're talking, you know, not way. You know,
Right. Right.
You know,
No.
these are things that
Yeah.
you know, we take it for granted today, but in order to do that, you know, that's some really there was some serious engineering going on back there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have
Well,
the ability to do so many things.
Well,
You know, but again, it wasn't fast enough. It wasn't. You know,
well,
it
was for the time.
too cumbersome and everything. So what can we do to make it better? You know, and
Yeah.
as it went along, you know.
Yeah.
But like, I remember back in the 70s, there was a mainframe computer that was set up. I believe it was in Germany, someplace in Hamburg, Germany, I believe. It was a mainframe computer for the world, and it was in a 4-story building that has like I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of square feet, you know, with this computer.
Right.
That today, you know, our cell phones have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Exactly.
That same amount of capability
Yep.
we now hold in the palm of our hand.
Sure.
You know,
Absolutely. Crazy. Microchips.
and it's getting,
Yeah.
it's getting smaller and smaller and more powerful.
Yeah.
As time goes on.
Yeah.
You know? Like, well, for instance, a perfect example is 10 years ago, smartphones came out.
Yeah.
You know? I think it was 2007. The iPhone came out. If I'm not mistaken, it was 2006 or 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and in comparison today, dinosaur. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, the days of the old flip phones and stuff like that. I remember the first mobile phone that I had in a truck was battery. The battery was the size of a 12-volt battery you put in your car. I mean, you know, with a little wire antenna stuck off the top of it. So yeah, that was the first mobile phone. You know, yeah. And then you had to be next to a repeater somewhere, you know, for it to even work right. So yeah, crazy stuff. But
yeah, that was only like a 0.5 gigabyte.
Something like that. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But yeah. But you know what's amazing to me? You know, you talked about the Voyager spacecraft, stuff like that. Here's something to the contemplate over. Now you figure that, you know, both of these craft now are so far out in space. I mean, they're basically on the other side almost of our solar system, so to speak. The last pictures they took, they turned them around, of course, and got all of the planets, you know, that they could see within our area. And that takes a very, very long time to send a message, you know, back and forth. And that's the thing that really gets me, is they power these things down now because they're so far out there to conserve battery life. And they can still compute, and they send this message from the ground through an aerial antenna, and they shoot it all the way out there. And these things pick this signal up, you know, and do what they're supposed to do, and then send images back. And it's like, how does this work? You know, it's just amazing. Just amazing. That's the things that get me. And these things were built in the 70s, you know, and here we are now, 2017. You got to be kidding. You know, it's just amazing. I don't know if they're bouncing them off other satellites or what, but wow. Now, lose it, Tim? You still with us? Yeah. Oh, his name's still up. Alrighty, I don't know. It looks like we got another caller here with us. Let's see who this is. This is a 973 area code. Hello, caller. Hello. Okay. Never fails. Huh. Unbelievable. Tim, you still with us? Oh, I see I'm getting another. No, we dropped Tim. Tim's dropped. There we go. That's what's going on. Huh. Okay, we're going to try this again. This is no, I guess we're not. That one left too. All right. Well, it's okay. We only got a couple minutes anyway, so, you know, looked like we could probably close it down. Looks like we're going to have some problems here now. I don't know what the deal was. Getting drop calls and going on my Facebook phone. Huh. I don't know. I want to mention too that Daryl Periel has been posting stuff in Facebook or in YouTube for us. So, you know, if everybody wants to check that out. But just trying to message me. I can't really take your message right now because I got it on live. So. I should have shut that part of it off on my phone. See, this is what I was just talking about. When I get messages like that, it comes through every piece of equipment, and then, you know, wind up giving me glitches on the other side. But that's okay. Doc says, let's see, put up some post there. eyes.nasa.gov. This is the Deep Space Network. Cool. I'll have to check that out. Yeah. But like I was saying earlier, they're so far out there now, and but yeah, we can still communicate with them. I just think that's really amazing. And like I said, you know, these things were built, you know, 30, 40 years ago, and it's just, it's really something. And of course, now we got the Hubble and everything else that's even, you know, that can reach further out than that. So communication-wise, it's just phenomenal. And, you know, it's really, really something. So, but anyway, just so everybody knows who's with us right now, I am going to have another show, hopefully, tomorrow night. We'll do this again, 6 o'clock live, like we do. I wanted to mention, too, you know, we had our live video chat last night on Facebook with the Ancient Alien Group. Kimberly Wright took the night off, so I volunteered to take over for her. So we did. I actually posted and I showed the whole Ancient Alien show. I think it was 2 or 3 hours long. We did that last night, and it's on the Closer Encounters page. You can watch it. But we had a lot of fun.
90 seconds.
It was fun. So anyway, we got 90 seconds left. So Tim, I see you just popped up, buddy, but you know, might as well just, we're going to hang her up for tonight. I appreciate you calling in. And but tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, same time, we'll be here. If we don't get logged out of Facebook or locked out, they'd had trouble today, but we'll see what happens. So
60 seconds.
I'm getting a couple of callers now at the very end of the show. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to have to decline your calls. But that's the way it goes, I guess. So hopefully they can holler back at us tomorrow. I know one of them. Yeah. Oh, well. Well, anyway. Yes, thank you too, Gail. I appreciate it. Everybody's been with us and following with us. Hopefully everything's going to go right. Everything seemed to be okay tonight so far. Good going. So I'm going to say good night to everybody, and please join us again tomorrow night. I'm glad to have you. Until then,
10
thank you all.
I want to thank you all for listening to Closer Encounters. Please remember to like, follow, and share. And until we meet again, keep your eyes to the skies. Thank you.